Ryoji thought what was the feeling in his chest was. He thought if he was in love with Kyoko, and to make sure of it. He looked at them closely. He can't quite explain his feeling at first. But he felt like he was a father, and his daughter brought his boyfriend. Then a sudden realization flashed on his head. It was because he considers Kyoko a family. Relief washed over him as he understood why he had that strange feeling. A few hours later, his classmate Yamada asked him if he saw the news. There was another victim of the fake dungeon information guide. Luckily, the victim made it out alive and was able to file a complaint, but the same can't be said to the other people. Ryoji asked, how do people fall for the fake information? Yamada replied that it's strange, but people who say that they're fine are more likely to fall for the scams. Yamada added that Ito and Kyoko meet those characteristics. They're researching the dungeons through strategy videos. Then he added that they raised a death flag. This bothered Ryoji. He told Yamada that he is going to the toilet. Yamada replied that it's all right and he'll let the teacher know. After he entered a toilet stall, Ryoji tried to understand the situation. He watched those videos out of curiosity, but it was all false information, so he tried to understand why would people spread information. He decided that he can't let this thing go anymore. He summoned his item box and another Ryoji started to come out of it. From the face down to his clothes, it was a perfect copy. It was a substitute puppet. It's an item that can take your place when fighting an enemy. It resembles like him, so the enemy can't figure out that they're attacking a clone. It is a consumable item that only lasts for a single day. He hasn't used it in a while, but luckily, he made one yesterday. Ryoji is planning on letting the substitute attend the classes for him. He gave the substitute the instructions and told that he would come back before the school ends and that the substitute should do its best. After that, he teleported away. He went back to his house and opened his desktop. He paid for plane ticket reservation. And right before he left, he prayed in front of his parents. He said that he will use the money they left other than his living expenses. He then checked if he left anything, then he teleports again. He arrived at the Haneda Airport's bathroom stall. He canceled his invisibility, then he walked out. Ryoji is excited because it's his first time flying. He thought that he should have used the money his uncles gave him, since he isn't really on the side of justice. He arrived at his seat and waited for the plane to take off. While the plane was in the sky, he was amazed that people can fly without magic. A few hours later, he arrived at his destination. Ryoji traveled to a spot near the dungeon just to be able to teleport again, since he can only teleport to a place he has been before. The place was crowded, so he sneaked past the line using his invisibility. He traveled down the dungeon, and he saw it firsthand. There were people that believe on the false information that was posted online. He went into a secluded spot and made sure that there was no one around. After that, he casted detection, and he realized that this dungeon is also one of the dungeons he explored in the other world. He summoned a drone from the item box. It is equipped with a high-performance digital camera. He can't use electricity inside the dungeon, so he modified the drone to be able to run on magical power. He was able to do it since Princess Daenerys taught him magic crafting as part of his hero training while he was in the other world. He thought about mass-producing the drones, but the materials used are rare, so he only made 4 at the moment. He casted invisibility on the drone since it would be bad if the others were to see it. And since he was level 1400, he doesn't need to worry about the MP consumption of the invisibility. After he changed his clothes, he prepared to record, but he forgot about something. Back at the school, Yamada thought that there was something odd with Ryoji. He thought that Ryoji seemed to be more alert than the usual. Ryoji's clone replied that he was a substitute puppet created using magic and magic crafting. Thankfully, Yamada didn't believe him. Back in the Katsurahama dungeon, Ryoji found the thing he was looking for. It was a helmet that looks like it's from Kamen Rider. He wore the helmet and prepared to record, but as soon as he talked, he started stumbling over his own words. He tried doing it again, but but he can't hide his nervousness while he talked. And the more he tries his best to hide his nervousness, the more he fails. After an hour, he finally managed to make an intro after doing several takes. The groups that noticed him started to pretend not to notice what he is doing. Ryoji proceeded recording the video, walking stiffly around the area. He started giving guidelines with the hunting spot near the entrance, but there was already 3 parties, and it's hard to find a slime. He said that if there's too many adventurers, the earning rate will decrease, but they should count on others if they need help. He added that there's no way to reverse death, so they should hunt with safety on top of their mind. Ryoji was already getting used to the feeling of being recorded and speaking on the camera. He proceeded with the recording and pointed out a hunting spot that he recommends. He reminded that there's 2 slimes on the way, so they should be careful. He showed the spawn locations of the treasure chest and noted that they are very easy to overlook. He opened the treasure chest, but he was unlucky because there's only a potion inside. He explained that scouters are extremely rare and can usually be found in purple treasure chest. Treasure chest respawns after 24 hours, so they should look forward to the next one. He then explained about the traps on the floor, saying that it is noticeable if they pay attention on the color. He accidentally stepped on the trap, which shot an arrow and bonked his head. He was embarrassed, but thankfully he is wearing a helmet, so he just made an excuse that he activated the trap on purpose. After explaining the first floor, he proceeded to the stair that leads to the second floor. He explained that second floor has goblins which are on another level compared to the slimes, and that people without adventurer traits will most likely die, so they should avoid the area entirely. While he was walking down explaining, he slipped, which caused him to fall down, and the drone captured all of it. He pretended that he fell on purpose to avoid his embarrassment. Suddenly, a woman being chased by goblins appeared running towards him. He casted fireball to the 2 goblins, instantly killing the goblins. Then he asked the woman if she is okay. The woman replied saying her thanks and that her friend was abducted by the goblins. Ryoji promised to save his friend and used detection to quickly locate where her friend was. The woman was surprised on how quickly Ryoji moved and reacted. He announced that he was there to save them, and an old man replied shouting for help. Ryoji was surprised that the woman's friend was an old man. He casted fireball, but his thoughts were muddled seeing the couple in the dungeon. He thought that what if Kyoko and Ito were to dungeon dive together? His thoughts amplified the power of the fireball. The power output was so high that it destroyed multiple dungeon walls. It's been a decade since he last used too much magical power. Luckily, there wasn't any victim. The old man thanked him, but he also asked about the absurd magic he just witnessed. Ryoji said that it was just a high-output fireball, but it almost became a flame cannon. Then the old man criticized him, saying that he is thankful, but wasn't that a bit too much? The old man continued to nag on Ryoji, saying that what if the dungeon collapses? Ryoji explained that the dungeon has auto-repair system, so it will be fixed tomorrow. The woman finally caught up to them. Ryoji gave them an advice that they aren't a high level enough, so they should level up by beating the slimes on the first floor first. But the old man got angry, saying that he just let his guard down, and he shouldn't lecture them. The couple both walked away angrily, and Ryoji thought that if they continued, he might have to protect them again. He then thought that the map was broken because of his fireball, so he can't continue to record. So he decided to get out of there, and as for the couple, Ryoji thought that he already gave them an advice that they ignored, so they are responsible for their own actions. Ryoji remembered that Daenerys once told him that he himself is responsible for what happens inside the dungeon. Listening to someone else's instruction would be stupid, and even Daenerys' instructions aren't absolute, so doesn't need to follow them if he thinks they're wrong. Ryoji sneaked back outside the dungeon. After he found a secluded area, he teleported back home again. He laid in bed, thinking that there's still time until the school starts, So he figured that he will conquer the second floor of Katsurahama Dungeon tomorrow and that he should record another dungeon. He thought that he can probably record 1 dungeon a day and 2 on the weekends. That would equate to 40 a month, and he could probably record all of the first and second floor dungeons in 3 months. That means filming would be finished before his graduation. The problem would be the editing. He thought about cutting some parts, connecting the remaining ones, and adding subtitles. He wanted to make it eye-catching, so he watched some videos for inspiration. The next day at lunchtime, Yamada asked him what he brought for lunch. Ryoji answered that he didn't bring anything, and that wasn't really hungry. Yamada gave him half his lunch to Ryoji and invited him to eat together. Ryoji thanked him while calling him Glasses-kun. Yamada was surprised, so he asked if Ryoji forgot his name. Ryoji thanked him again, saying, Yamada's name. Ryoji said that he will never forget that he shared his lunch with him until the day he dies. Yamada thought that it was a bit of an exaggeration, saying that they're friend, or rather, comrades after all. Ryoji teared up, so he covered his eyes with the back of his palm. When Yamada asked what was wrong, he pretended that his eyelash was in his eye. Back in the Katsuharama dungeon, the woman was caught by goblins again. The old man tried to stop the goblins, but he was slapped right in the face. The goblins started to dive in and assault her, but they were frozen by magic. It was Ryoji. He advised the couple to evacuate in the first floor for now. They were glad that they were saved again. Ryoji freed both of them, and the woman thanked him. The couple hugged each other since they narrowly escaped being assaulted by goblins. The old man thanked him for saving them the second time. He admitted that it was his fault since he ignored all the advice he gave earlier. Ryoji replied that he helped him on his own accord, so there's no need for thanks. Then he asked why are they exploring the dungeon despite being low level. The old man replied that he watched some videos saying that they can conquer second floor even at low levels, but it was a paid subscription. The woman added that the videos with "I'm not supposed to tell you" and "only advanced people know this" as title were all bullshit. Ryoji, with his worried expression, thinking that the fake videos are more damaging than he thought. And this marks the end of Chapter 5.
Like and subscribe, and click the bell icon so you can be notified for future updates. For other videos like this, click here. Thanks for watching.